Today we're going to look at the lungs as an overflow detox mechanism for the body. Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Minke. This is Minke Wellness. We've been going through a lot of discussion this month about respiratory system and really getting in touch with the lungs and the process of respiration where we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. And we describe carbon dioxide legitimately as a toxin that we need to clear out of the body. And so there's definitely cleansing happening in the lungs for the body. The body itself is dumping carbon dioxide out and cleansing itself. The blood is getting clear of carbon dioxide. The lungs themselves have a physical cleansing mechanism of the mucus that we described last week, and we get this mucus that comes out and it flushes and washes out the lungs. And we'll be talking a lot about that next week and getting into what I call cleansing breathing, a breath that is designed to help the body cleanse. And we need to really be prepared with a lot of resources in the body, which is why I really hope you've been doing all your supplementation and you've been doing your morning water and you've gotten yourself hydrated and ready, because this breath that I call cleansing breath is very, very effective. So you don't want to overdo that if you don't have the resources. So please make sure you get ready for next week and make sure you're on your supplements, the Sulfurzyme and Super C, and if you've got your Detoxzyme and your essential oils from Young Living, great. And then plenty of morning water to get ready for next week. Now, before next week we get into, I want to just mention a little bit about this whole process of the lungs go through for cleansing, and I'm not really talking about the lungs themselves cleansing of the mucus. I'm talking about this idea that the lungs are used by the body as a mechanism to cleanse the body. And this is what's considered to be a secondary mechanism. What would the primary, if the lungs are secondary, what's primary? So first of all, the lungs and skin are both secondary mechanisms for cleansing the body. If there are toxins that are not getting the primary system is overloaded, the secondary system kicks in and the toxins come out on the skin. We start to see skin rashes and they come out in the lungs. And this has an effect or impact on the respiratory system. And so you can start to feel maybe that you're having issues in the lungs because your body is so toxic that it's using the lungs to try to get rid of stuff. Now, what are the primary detox mechanisms? The primary detox system is, what we would consider the main flushing system, which is the liver and the bowel and the kidneys. The kidneys are filtering the blood, the liver is filtering the blood, and then the bowel itself is getting rid of stuff. So all these are the elimination system. These are the elimination system, getting rid of toxins, flushing, purifying the blood, filtering it all out. The lymph gets filtered by the spleen and the lymph nodes. And so all those fluids are getting filtered and processed and cleaned out, and flushed. The toxins are then flushed, unless they're not. If that system is not working, then the lungs take over to try to double up and get rid of some of these things, okay? And so sometimes the lungs are overloaded and puts a lot of pressure on the lungs to get this stuff that's coming out through the line of the lungs and then supposed to be coming up and out. So if we're having a lot of mucus flow and stuff that's coming up and a lot of congestion that ends up in the sinuses and all that, it could be that our primary detox mechanisms down in the bowel, down in the liver, the whole lymphatic system are not functioning well. So we're definitely going to be looking at those next month. The circulatory system, which is the blood and the lymph. So we're going to be going over that. And then the third one, the third month, we're going to be going over the digestive system. So you can see how important, my level of importance is we've got to be able to breathe, but there are definitely things that are going to be impacting our breathing along the way. And we got to get these primary cleansing mechanisms to function well. All right. But for the moment, it's as you start to do your breathing, you start to recognize that the lungs might be doubling up and doing double duty. Well, that means you say, okay, well, I definitely gonna have to work on all the other factors as much as I can. Do as best you can with your breathing, but make sure you start getting in touch with, and of course we'll get there. Don't be too frustrated by the fact that we're starting to talk about these other systems that you need. We'll get there, and it's all important, but it's hard to have everything be all important all at the same time, and it's hard to say, all right, I got to do everything all at once. You don't. You do one thing at a time. And we do this in the respiratory. I guarantee that I think it's the safest and best way to start with the respiratory system to get a good breath and keep working on the breathing. So if you get enough oxygen in there, everything else is going to go well. So what can I do to help with this secondary mechanisms? If my body is experiencing a very secondary, I can get back to my water and take some digestive enzymes and take, guess what? Sulfurzyme and vitamin C are some of the best mechanisms I use, best tools I use from Young Living essential oils to get my body support that I need to get stuff cleansed out. They are both gentle cleansers. The essential oils tend to be phase 1 cleansers. The detoxers, the other ones, the sulfurzyme and vitamin C, are phase 2 detoxers. And we'll talk a lot more about that in the digestive system. But phase 1 is basically where the toxins are mobilized, activated and mobilized. And phase 2 is where they're broken down and eliminated. And so we need both of those. Essential oils are good phase 1 detoxers. Now, let me just warn you about this. If we're using good quality essential oils, Young Living essential oils, and we start to feel like they're pushing the body too hard, in other words, we got a lot of phase 1 detoxing, but not enough phase 2, then that's where we can end up saying, okay, well, maybe I need to back off on the essential oils, a little less oils, fewer oils, and more of the, of course, we're talking about vitality oils here. Oils that are labeled vitality are the ones that we talk about that affect the body systems. We don't talk about essential oils affecting the body systems that are not labeled for as a supplement. This is just the FDA compliance rules for this, and so we need to stay with that language. So anyway, the essential oils, the vitality essential oils from Young Living, if we may have to back off on those if we're feeling that too much detox mechanism, that we don't have enough of phase 2. So if we downplay, so slow down on the essential oils, increase the water, increase the sulfurzyme, increase the detoxzyme and the super C, and those are going to help on the phase 2 detoxers. We'll go through a lot more about cleansing and detoxification all along the way, but mainly when we hit the digestive system here in a couple months. So that's the basic, that's the short lesson for today, more of an awareness lesson and encouragement to understand that there's a lot of processes here, and it's not so easy to pin it down. The more in tune you get with your body and the more ways that you understand that these work and are interconnected, it starts to give you that conscious wisdom of saying, I think that is what's going on for me. That's very important. Or if you, as we talked about yesterday, if you feel that impact, the physical restriction of the diaphragm pushing down, you say, I really need to work on scar tissue. So you start to be able to identify where you need to get help. I mean, if you're doing what you can with your own work, but then you say, okay, I need to get some massage or cranial therapy or a chiropractic or something or acupuncture. I need to get some additional help to work on these things that I'm not getting progress on, or if the progress is too slow for your comfort level. I want to, so maybe I just need to get some work done, body work, Aston patterning sessions, anything like that can help accelerate your process of getting the body back on track, of getting aligned, getting your restrictions removed so that you can breathe better and everything else starts to flow better, okay? So recognizing again that the body uses the respiratory system as an oxygenator. We need to bring the oxygen in, but we also use it as a detoxing the blood to get rid of the carbon dioxide. But there are other toxins that can come out through the lungs, ketones and various volatile compounds that come out. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. So we will do a lot more cleansing next week. Come back next week, get ready, be hydrated, happy wellness. We'll see you next week.